You, but you can't see me. Looking in your face as you pass me by like far side. Calling spirits from the underworld and dark side. Go to the metal center, invoke higher, not lower heavens. Neo saw the matrix, I see 11s, 22s, 33s, and 44s. On dream realms, I bat an alligator, man, and warty boars. Vampiric weapons, SO not exoteric. Barbaric pirate, but don't call me barbaric. Don't call a medic, you better call a grave digger. Or call a rep as you tap out, cause your legs four-figured. I'm not that nigga, jigger, or rapper tigger. More like a Moorish super hustler and trigger. Base your eyes on the guy that has no kind of worries if I die. So pussy clot try.
Streaming live on
Base
Ustream
your
today.
eyes on the guy that has no kind of worries if I die. So pussy clot try.
And you all are rocking with us from 6:30 till about 8:30. You know, sometimes we go a little bit over.
I'm watching as the National Guard shot gets set and drew prophecy of soldiers with bayonets. Martial law coming, all you blinded figures curfews.
What we
You're
should
sickness and
do.
they living off your virtues.
You know?
Vampiric, touching their hair, you calling them rude. Blacks are dead carcasses, they see energy food while you riot.
And I know you guys watching on the stream or wherever you guys may be at already know that, you know, when Moors are talking about nationality and birthrights and everything, a lot of times you get jokers that's throwing certain words out there that Moors may say, but they do it loosely, right, without putting any kind of parameters or any kind of idea as to what it is they're actually talking about when they're saying that word. They don't define it at all. So that's often where the confusion comes from. And as we move forward, we'll, you know, try to work through getting that ironed out. As they say.
Undercover pros in black clothes. Throwing the first projectile to start the riot infection. Disappear in the crowd, get me for insurrection. Enemy combatant status is prisoner of war.
We keep doing what we doing. Moors keep going. Everybody else keep talking crap. We just keep building. Whatever. You better hear me. You know, we're not really too worried about it. Welcome. Got somebody in the chat.
For rights and revolving door prison pipelines. Either you wake up now or
continue
to suffer. Live under the thumb and watch for eyes big brother.
Islam. What's going on? I just turned the music off so you can speak.
I figured you was getting ready. That's why I just put myself on mute after the third.
All right, no worries.
I'm good though, fam.
All right, I'm about to vibe out. Wait till the class fill up a little bit.
All right, cool.
All right.
Let it burn, burn, baby, burn. Maybe they would learn, maybe learn. Let it burn, burn.
Hey, that's our webmaster Teresa L over there doing her things, checking in. You know, always love to have her rocking with us, making sure everything, you know, runs smooth in the background, things like that. So, you know, it's a team effort, teamwork makes the dream work. All right.
In reality,
coming on in.
Dimension shift when you recite hieroglyphs. Open your chakras, kundalini energy shifts. Higher self out the lower depths. Start feeling the split. Start getting your mind forward, not keeping your mind black. Watch where you walk. I've seen people swallowed by cracks. Stop talking, kill crackers. Posing with gas, the truth. It's time to plug in like a phone jack. Finally make the connection, make the correction. Blacks are abused for statelessness, not your complexion. Let it burn, burn, baby, burn. Maybe they would learn, maybe learn. Let it burn, burn, baby, burn. Let it burn, burn, baby, burn. Let it burn, burn, baby, burn. Maybe they would learn, maybe learn.
I just muted you out just so it wouldn't be any echo or anything.
Maybe they would learn, maybe learn. Burn, burn.
All right, so let's go on and get it started. 6:38. That's Brother Cujo, Iron Sheet, coming from that Iron Sheet 6 that y'all were listening to. And today, I believe today was the day that I was supposed to get started and go over the Treaty of Tripoli. Rolling over from last week, and just to kind of recap you if you haven't been keeping up with the classes or you haven't been able to catch us, in transition, we've been taking a very slow, cursory walk, through the basics of what we in 2016 considered to be the essence, or what I like to consider to be the bricks, so to speak, of the foundation that is Moorish science, as we understand it today. Hold on. Did you have something to say? Say what? Might be having some technical difficulties. I'm gonna go and, if you got something and the mic's not working, just hit the chat box and it should let you retype it. Hold on, let me reset this. Maybe it's on my end. Alright, so let's keep it going. A little technical difficulties, never hurt nothing. Alright, so we just keep it moving. But yeah, we also on Ustream, by the way. Not sure what. There we go. Islam. Oh, and she left just like that. All right. Anyway, so we got people popping in and out. This like I said, this is an open forum. Pretty much on Fridays we just like to sit back and let whatever is going on kind of be the driving force behind the conversation, and then from there we kind of build. But for right now, I just wanted to try to stay on task with where we're at. Maybe she popped back in. So let me see if Islam, you back. Welcome. Just see Islam. If you can hit the chat box if you got a question or whatever, because it seems like you got some audio issues or whatever. But I'm going to mute you out for right now. All right, sis.
Yeah.
All right, and go on and share the link with whoever you can while you sitting here. But all right, so we're gonna keep it moving. The Treaty of Tripoli, which of course I got a copy of it right here in the treaty book, and I wanted to jump right to what it was I wanted to get to without going through the whole thing and all that rigmarole. So we'll be able to get through the rest of this. So page, only mine is a little different from y'all's. You got somebody else popping in. Just mute them out right quick. If you got any questions, hit the chat box, all that good stuff. But Treaty of Tripoli, now, just so y'all can see, hold on. So y'all can see Treaty of Tripoli, right? All right. So Treaty of Tripoli is a little, there we go. So signed at Tripoli on day 4, November 1796. All right, corresponding to 3 Ramadan, AH 1211. It was signed at Algiers on day 3 of January 1797 AD, corresponding to Rajab 1211. The original treaty is in Arabic. The treaty was submitted to the United States Senate on day 29 of May 1797 AD. Message of day 26, May 1797. Resolution of advice and consent on day 7, June 1797. The treaty was ratified, right? Because this is the subsequent actions that the treaty went through. Ratified by the United States on day 10 of June 1797. As to ratification, generally see the notes proclaimed on day 10 of June 1797. This is John Adams, right? That's the section I'm reading right here, right? Just so y'all can see. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to skip over and jump into Article 11, right? So Article 11, and this is what you see a lot of Moors make reference to, and a lot of other people talk about when they say that this is not a Christian nation, and that this nation was not, it's not theirs in terms of being Christendom's actual possession. Though they are claiming it, and though they are, standing on it, they don't have lawful possession. They have actual possession or physical possession. They don't have lawful possession, right? And there's a distinct difference at law when you're talking about who actually owns the property, right? So with that in mind, we having some technical difficulties. I'm gonna reset right quick. Y'all just bear with me. And y'all keep rocking with me over here as we're streaming live. Alright, so we back over here. Let me reset the room. Treaty of Tripoli, yes. Alright. Boom, back at it. Alright, so this is everybody coming back in. So I think we had a question. Treaty of Tripoli. Yeah, it's actually spelled, I'm bad at spelling too, so I'm bear with you. Tripoli. Yeah, Tripoli. So yeah, the Treaty of Tripoli. 1796. So let me go back. So it was signed on the 4th day of November 1796, right, in Tripoli. And then on the 3rd day of January 1797, it was signed in Algiers. All right. Yeah, I know it's crazy. The audio is going crazy right now. I'm gonna mute y'all out though, just to kind of help it. Hopefully, we'll get through it. But anyway, all right. So we've got that. So I wanted to get to Article 11. Hold on, somebody's typing something. Y'all bear with us. And if anybody on the Ustream is watching, you guys can actually type in whatever you guys want to, and drop in if you want to. Anyway, turn the cams off. Oh, okay. So if you're not using your camera, the webmaster is saying if you just turn your camera off, there should be a little button that looks like a camera next to the little button that looks like a microphone. And you can actually disable that on your end, and then that should help free it up. And then if you want to leave your mic open, that should let you, speak without the camera interfering with the bandwidth, because we've got, limited space with this going forward. Somebody else is typing. Hold on, I'm just waiting to see. But yeah, what I'm getting into before I read this, and let me just kind of give some context to it. When you're talking about Moors and the obligations, and Article 6, and you've got people asking, why do Moors always talk about treaties and constitutions, right? Keep your cam on. Yeah, I'm keeping my cam on. That didn't work too long. The camera strings. Okay. So let me read. Oh, I'm just gonna read through it. What we got? I think somebody dropped off, but I'm gonna reset right quick, and then I'm gonna read it. All right. Y'all bear with me. Yeah, we're gonna have to do something about this. All right. So we're back at it. All right. So what I was saying, as far as the Treaty of Tripoli, when you're talking about who we are, who they are, you know what I mean, what was going on, realize that when the Moors were expelled from Spain in 1492, a lot of those Moors, right, ended up in Algeria, modern day. and modern-day Tunis, right? Or Tunis, Algeria. And matter of fact, just because y'all are with me, let me see if I can pull up a map right quick. Hopefully we won't crash the bandwidth. I know y'all on Ustream won't be able to see this, but one day we'll get this together. Alright, but I'm going to try to do a screen share right quick. So we're going to share that. Boom. Alright, so maps. I wonder if y'all are seeing this. I just typed in Western North Africa, the Maghreb, 1600 to 1800. Now I'm looking for a map, mind you. But oh, here we go. This is actually just what I needed, actually. Make sure y'all can see that. All right. So, see right here, it says 1600 AD, 1574, Ottoman rule, right? West Algeria, and that's Libya, Tunisia, right? And then the Muradids, 1612. And then right here, Ottoman rule, Algeria, 1555, right? And then the Saudi Sharifs, Morocco, right? Let's just read this, just see what it says. It says, at the beginning of this period, the Ottomans ruled present-day Libya, Tunisia, and Algeria, right? But the empire soon finds itself overextended. By the 1700s, the power of the Turkish governors sent from Anatolia is eclipsed by that of local military leaders who rule with little intervention from the Sultan in Istanbul. The Ottoman influence is instead felt in the arts of the Maghreb, into which are integrated Turkish motifs, right? Morocco, just beyond the reach of the Ottomans, remains independent. So when the Ottomans came in and took over most of the empire, the base, Morocco, remained independent during this time period. That's interesting. In the mid-17th century, the Alawid or Falali dynasty replaces the Saadid Sharifs and continues to rule today. It's got some key events there and Mars. Okay, we'll look at that later. But I still want to find this map. All right, let me just get back. I still want this map to show you guys. Oh, they got the Barbary slave trade. We're gonna come back to that. Nah, that's not what I needed. All right, well, let's see what Wikipedia is talking about. Here we go. Hold on. I think I saw it. 1700s map of North Africa. Oh, now isn't this interesting? Now this is history map.com. You can look it up for yourself. But this right here, let me go full screen. Can I zoom in on this? Pays de Berberis, Desert de Barbary, like Barbary, right? What is this? Algier, Royaume, Royaume de Tripoli, right? So all of this land up here, all of this is North Africa. All of this right here, all of this part, this northern part. Let me see if I can get y'all this. All of this, that ain't gonna work. Leave that right there. So yeah, anyway, all of this up here on the north is where these quote unquote Moors were dwelling, and where this Ottoman Empire was, after it was taken over and all that jazz. So now we back. So we've got context now. Let me come out of this screen share. So now you've got context as to the area that we're talking about, and you know what it is that we say when we say in Tunis, Tripolis, you know, Algiers, Morocco. So these Moors were living in these areas after, you know, they were kicked out of Spain and Portugal and all that good stuff. But by the time the quote-unquote U.S. was established, 1796, 1797, you got the Treaty of Tripoli, right? And in that treaty, getting to the meat and potatoes of it, you've got a series of articles that, you know, are talking about different things, mostly about commerce, trade, you know, things of that sort, because that was, you know, the big issue at the time. That as well as war. So, Article 11 reads, and I quote, "As the government of the United States of America is not in any sense founded on the Christian religion, as it has in itself no character of enmity against the laws, religion, or tranquility of Muslim men, and as the said states have never entered into any war or act of hostility against any Mohammedan nation, it is declared by the parties that no pretext arising from religious opinions shall ever produce an interruption of the harmony existing between the two countries." Right? So right there you've got some guarantees, right? When you get into it and you actually start summing up what it is that they're really talking about. You don't have to second guess when it says, all right, as the government of the United States of America. What are we talking about? You don't have to guess what we're talking about. We're talking about the government of the United States of America. Is what? Not in any sense. So no matter how you flip it, how you want to try to, you know, put a date in later, or say that, you know, because they ratified the document, that somehow that put some kind of, you know, magical fairy pixie dust over it to now say that it, you know, it was their stamp, their seal that was giving it the power and authority to do something. No, it's not. It's not the fact that they're doing anything. They're just acknowledging that they saw the document at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And when we're talking about being under occupation and dealing with the public record, of course I want my enemy to know that I've changed positions and I'm no longer supporting them. Like, what sense would it make for me to keep trying to live under that yoke, right, that I know is oppressing me, when I could just, you know, and make some moves, and I'm doing something else now. I'm not stuck, right? So let me read this again. Government as the United States of America is not in any sense founded on the Christian religion, as it has in itself, talking about the government of the United States, no character of enmity, all right, against the laws. So let's look that word up right quick, you know, in the Black's Law. Hold on. Let's see what enmity talking about. Of course, Black's Law 4th edition. All right. See if it's in here. If it's not, then we'll, you know, switch it up. But I think it's in here. And then I got some stuff I wanted to get out of worship to spell it for y'all on the record. Alright. It's not in here. So, at any rate, I can still look it up. Ain't nothing wrong. All right. Islam, Sister Barbara. I see you. Glad to have you. So let's look up enmity right quick. Sometimes. All right. Just so we're clear, you know, as to what it is we're talking about, because we don't want to skip over anything and not know what it is we're talking about. So just right here, it says enmity, right? The state or feeling of being actively opposed or hostile to someone or something, right? The synonyms for this would be hostility, animosity, antagonism, friction, antipathy, animus, acronym. Y'all had to forgive me. Bitterness, rancor, so on and so forth. All right. So the original was inimicus. All right. Old French. So that was from Latin. Old French. Enmity. English, enemy. So the word enmity is synonymous with enemy coming out of English, and this is a Middle English word. All right. So we got that. Boom. So now we're talking about, you know, basically ill will, right? Or wanting to harm. You know, the fact that, and this is just to prove context, when they say that there's no enmity against the laws, religion, or tranquility of Muslimin, that means they can't be at war with you based on your laws, your religion, and your you know, your stasis or basis of tranquility or peace. And we know from, you know, our previous conversations and our research with the Constitution that, you know, that's written within the Constitution itself, where it talks about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? Let's see if we can find that on Article 1 right quick. Because, I mean, it all correlates. It really all correlates. And if you don't see the themes and the concepts inherent in the treaty and inherent in the Constitution, then you're gonna constantly be led astray and told something about what the Constitution says or means. And Declaration of Independence, thank you. But it's also in the First Amendment too. They also have some of that language in there too, and that's what I'm saying. Like it's all over the place. The same themes run and reign true because, you know, the truth doesn't change, it doesn't pass away. But this is something I read, I think like second week, but I wanted to reiterate this. So this is coming out of the preamble, right? Preamble for the Constitution. We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, right? Who are they unionized with, or who are they joining with? The Moors, right? Uh-oh, having some connection problems. Let me reset it. Y'all keeping with me on Ustream, live, in full effect. Got to love it, man. Got to love it. This ain't nothing like this, man. This is you getting, you know, the beginning of the end for all these sorry jokers. But as far as Moors, like this is the takeoff. You know what I mean? This is the launching pad. I mean, the takeoff is when you get yourself, you know, up to speed and all that good stuff. All right. So I think we back. So the preamble: we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. All right. When you talk about the more perfect union, right? Oh, I'm sorry. You talk about a more perfect union. you got to realize that the Moors were at war. The Christians and the quote-unquote Muslims were at war for thousands of years. Right? Even in the Bible, they talk about how one was red and ruddy all over, and the other, you know, traded his blessings for a pot of porridge. You know, we traded away our birthright for food, based on the analogy. In reality, it was a lot deeper than that. You know what I mean? I've been wrestling with how to really explain what really happened in a clear and concise way, but there's just so many points in history that you could point to and say, all right, well, yeah, this could be a starting point, or that could be a starting point, but it's like none of them really suffice. You know what I mean? Enough to say that we, as Moors, knew what we were doing, and we enslaved some people, and at the end of the day, we had to reinvent. Hold on, let me see. Keep investing into our own. Yeah, and she, you know, sister brings up a very good point. We kept investing in our lower selves. You know what I mean? We really kept investing in our lower selves and not really paying attention to what was going on upstairs, and really paying attention to our spiritual development. You know what I mean? As human beings, and you know, as people who had a previous way of life, and as we move from that hunter-gatherer way of life into, you know, being civilized and having to live up amongst each other, you know what I mean? I can't just get mad at you and say, all right, I'm going to go left, you're going to go right, and we're going to be all right. You know, it is what it is. We now are moving more to a agricultural society where I now have to stay in the vicinity of my crops. Otherwise, everything is going to fail. You know what I mean? If I don't go and, you know, plow the field and whatnot, and if I don't go and trade with Farmer Joe to get some seeds, then I'm not going to have anything to plant next season. You know what I mean? So by growing closer, and like the prophet said, by, you know, Moors living together, you get to a point where you're able to help just take care of each other. You know what I mean? In a way where, all right, I might not be that good in, say, farming. So you might be really good at planting, right? So I'll go to you and say, hey, I need so-and-so done. I'll give you X number of bean sprouts, you know what I mean, or bushels of corn from whatever it is that we grow, and that'll be your pay, right? Now, in the midst of that, the guy might say, hey, all right, I'll take those bushels of corn, but, you know, that's not really going to suffice right now. How about, you know, you got a well in the back. I got to work this thing. How about you let me use your well? You know what I mean? And whenever my family needs some water, we just go to the well, you know? And that's, you know, the deal for that moment. And so then as time goes on, yep, it's the barter system. You know what I mean? We now have a means of exchange without having to use the fiat currency, right? So say I don't need a well, you know what I mean? I've got water in the back of my yard too, just like you do, you know what I mean? I'm tapped in, all of that. Well, you may not need water, but you might like I don't know, how to play basketball, and I might be a basketball maker, you know what I mean? That might be my craft. The thing I'm trying to get to is that everybody at some point is either going to be producing goods, okay, or they're going to have a service that they're going to provide. And that's generally, you know, what most people's livelihoods consist of. Or you're in the exchange business, or you're on the back end of, you know, supporting that, which America, unfortunately, we've succumbed to that problem, where we no longer manufacture things in America, you know, in Northwest Amexem. We no longer build cars like we used to, you know what I mean, unless it's foreign companies coming in and supporting that. But most of the jobs have been, quote unquote, exported, right? But then there's also something else going on that you got to realize, and getting into what I'm going to talk about a little bit later. The DOJ just came out and was talking about the private prison systems, right? And last week, noticed that Moorish Directory and Brother Jonathan, shouts out to MoorishDirectory.com, which is our sponsor, of course. And so anyway, he put out the episode 4 talking about, the children and everything, our missing children. And in that video, we talked about how the child services, child protective services and all of that, the national board, the national head of that organization came out at some point and basically said that their system, their whole organization has been infiltrated, used, abused, right, and openly supports at this point human trafficking, right, and sex trafficking and things of that sort. And it was interesting because we did that last week. And now this week, the Justice Department is saying that they're rolling back on the federal prisons. You know what I mean? But nobody's talking about the children. You know what I mean? They still worried about the grown people. But they, the things that they found, like with Planned Parenthood, and then, and I forgive me because I don't have all the links available. I've been ripping and running. But they found another, well, they actually think they convicted this particular group. But over the past 2 years or whatever, they've been finding all of these companies where you donate, say, your organs and stuff. They were taking the organs and selling them on the black market. They weren't giving them to anybody for any type of, for any operations or anything, right? They're just taking these organs straight out the body, and all right, here you go, you 600. All right, here's a pancreas. You know what I mean? And then turned around, right? And I don't know if you guys been paying attention either. Planned Parenthood got caught up, right? They had the investigative reporter come in there, and they caught them on tape talking and shopping numbers about the various parts that they get. And they were advertising to the people that they were shopping with, talking about how, oh yeah, the pancreas and the livers, the livers are the hottest thing. Everybody needs a liver. Hearts are really good, but yeah, the liver, oh my goodness, we can get, X number of dollars for that, and so and so and so and so. And she's just candidly throwing this out there as if, doing transfers of organs for profit isn't illegal. Okay? And it just boggles the mind because they were able to dance around that whole thing with PR and, mind you, with the whole little advanced torts, saying that it was discriminatory and that it was inflammatory and it was untrue and all the rest of this type of stuff because of the context, right? But the context that they put it in was that she, as the head, director or whatever at the time, she had the ability to tell the doctors, oh, we need this type of organ, we need this size, we need that, we need this, all right. And she says in the video, right, how they go in, and I'm going to see if I can find it in a second because it's real short. But they say they can go in and look at the roster, right, of the children and the people who are set to give up their organs for that day, or who are set to have abortions, and pick out the ones that they want and tell the doctor, all right, we want you to do a procedure this way because we'll be able to we really need to get the, okay, the voice is breaking, hold on. Let me reset right quick. Yikes. So yeah, still going, still moving. All right, and so we back. All right, let me just reset this. Yeah, so yeah, we're still going. I'm talking about the Planned Parenthood, you know, kind of recapping what happened with that and showing the correlation. All right, so we got it back. Can y'all hear me now? All right. Is it better? They typing. All right, but anyway, so you've got Planned Parenthood. You've got them, you know, basically organizing, strategizing how they're gonna get these organs out of these, you know, unborn babies. This is your background. Okay, I muted them. All right, so we got that, and just so y'all know, Islam, this is a part of the nigger industry. This is a big part of the nigger industry. You know what I mean? And the reason why we say the nigger industry is because when you're classified as a Negro, black, or colored, you know what I mean, and you're out here hotepping and stepping, you know, as they say, you are classified as food. Hold on, is this, I wonder if this is the link. This might be it, I'm just testing it out.
Hello, I'm Cecile Richards.
Yeah, so here we go. We're going, let me try to get this shared screen going. All right, and then we're going to watch this video right quick, and then this is Planned Parenthood trying to clean up after the fact.
It's President of Planned Parenthood. Hello, I'm Cecile Richards, President of Planned Parenthood Federation of America. I want to be really clear. The allegation that Planned Parenthood profits in any way from tissue donation is not true.
Thanks. Here we go. Yeah.
What would you expect for intact tissue? What sort of compensation? What sort of...
Well, why don't you start by telling me where you used to pay it?
42, USC, code 289G-2.
We'll be exhibiting at the Medical Directors Council meeting in a couple of weeks, so I don't know if you'll be attending.
I'm now the president of that organization.
Oh,
So she's the medical director, y'all.
This was they're a startup that they have been about a year in business. They're a for-profit company that's connecting researchers with people willing to donate tissue. Our volume, thank you for giving it to me, is 800 a year.
Hold on, let me write this back. I gotta put the mic. Hold on. I gotta put the speaker on. This is real low.
They have been about a year in business. They're a for-profit company that's connecting researchers with people willing to donate tissue. Our volume, thank you for giving it to me, is 800 a year with 60 in the second trimester. And we just started talking about how the process worked with Novogenics down in Los Angeles when I was there. Okay, to back up a little bit, PPFA, our parent body, is on board with tissue donation.
Parent body. Notice she said parent body. Okay. They break these corporations up into, you know, parent companies and sub corporations.
Parent body is on board with tissue donation, but we have to ask for a waiver to do it, and we have to lay out for them what our program's going to be like. And the mechanics of it was that Heather, Novogenics person, would come to the site, and our staff would sign the patients up and get consent, and then Heather would look at the tissue and take what she required. So it was logistically very easy for us. We didn't have to do anything. So there was compensation for this. We didn't have to do anything. So there was compensation for this, and there was a discussion as I was leaving. They had been paying by the case, and there was some discussion about doing it in a different way, or I don't know what you're used to doing, how are you used to doing compensation. Patients don't get anything, of course.
Okay.
Patients don't get anything, of course.
What would you expect for intact
tissue? What sort of compensation? What sort of...
Well, why don't you start by telling me what you used to pay?
Okay. I don't think so. I would like to know what would make you happy. What would work for you?
Well, you know, in negotiations, the person who throws out the figure first is at a loss, right? So.
No, I don't look at it that way. I know you want to play that game. I get it, but no, I want
low ball because I'm used to low things from.
You know what? If you low ball, I'll act pleasantly surprised, and you'll know it's a low ball.
Okay.
What I want to know is what would work for you. Don't low ball it.
Okay.
Tell me what you really.
Oh,
that's way too low. And that's way too low. I want to keep you happy.
I'm talking about places that did 50 too. But see, we're not in it for the money. So why don't you start by telling me what you used to pay?
No, I want
lowball
you really.
$75 a specimen, and we don't want to be in the position of being accused of selling tissue and stuff like that. On the other hand, there are costs associated with the use of
Exactly.
that kind of stuff. So what would you think about?
Right. So. Way higher than that.
Way higher.
So I'd like to start at around 100.
Okay. Now this is for tissue that you actually take, not just the tissue that the person volunteered that you can't find anything.
Exactly.
Now this is for tissue that you actually take, not just the tissue that the person volunteered that you can't find anything.
Exactly. Right. What we can use, what is intact. So that's why I'm saying no, don't lowball. I want you to be happy.
It's complicated by the fact that our volume is so low too. I mean, are you looking at 8
They got low volume.
and 9-week specimens or only second trimester specimens?
You know, 10 to 12 week, end of the first trimester. If those are pretty intact specimens, then that's something we can work with.
So that's an interesting concept. Let me explain to you a little bit of a problem, which may not be a big problem. If our usual technique is suction at 10 to 12 weeks, and we switch to using an iPass or something with less suction in order to increase the odds that will come out as an intact specimen, then we're kind of violating the protocol that says to the patient, we're not doing anything different in our care of you. And to me, that's a kind of a specious argument, and I wouldn't object to asking Ian, who's our surgeon who does the cases, to use an iPass at that gestational age in order to increase the odds that he was going to get an intact specimen.
Now peep this now. I'm gonna run this part back. I think we got some folks that just came in. Welcome if you did. But we're looking at this, talking about the Planned Parenthood situation. Double check. Mute out everybody. Welcome, Brother Nasir. But we talk about this Planned Parenthood situation and what's going on with these children, man. These missing children. I'm trying to connect some dots here.
But I do the protocol that says to the patient, we're not doing anything different in our care of you. And to me, that's a kind of a specious little argument, and I wouldn't object to asking Ian, who's our surgeon who does the cases, to use an iPass at that gestational age in order to increase.
Oh no. Alright, so I'm gonna pause that. But getting back to it. Alright, so getting back to it, just you can pretty much get it, you know what I mean? It is pretty disturbing how organized, right? How well priced and down to the red cent they figured out, how to do this. Okay? So when going back to the episode 4, when we're talking about all these missing children and child protective services, they are the front end. Okay? Planned Parenthood and these organ people are what you say on the back end. All right? And in between, you've got people working on either side that are making moolah. Okay? Saying I'm extremely choppy. Hold on, let me reset. But they're making all this money at the expense of children's lives and fetuses. Okay? I just want to put that in context. I just wanted to put it in context. I hope it's a little bit better. Is it any better now with the audio? Webmaster. Sharice. She's typing. Hold on. Oh, I didn't even see all of these. Alright, so anyway, so you've got all of this stuff going on, and you know, nobody's alright. Now Sib, try to turn your camera off to try to save some of the bandwidth, please. And then once we get the questions or whatever, alright, cool. Once we get the questions, we'll open everything back up. So so right now, what we're talking about, like I said, is the fact that you've got Planned Parenthood, you've got, you know, these organ donation companies that got caught red-handed. Planned Parenthood getting caught red-handed, right? And like she said in the video, at the beginning, earlier on in the pregnancy, they can use the vacuum and just suck the fetus out, right? And, you know, of course, it comes out in all different pieces and all the rest of that. But then later on, as it gets, you know, older and bigger, they can't do that, and they have to go in with scissors, typically. And they'll sever the spinal cord or do whatever they have to do to try to get to the fetus, right? And to try to maintain and protect those organs that are within the fetus. Because Planned Parenthood will sell, you know, direct to consumer, obviously. And you can buy stem cells or organs or, you know, what have you. And that would be just how you do it. You know, you just call up Planned Parenthood. Hey, who you got on the table today? You know, and they're going to set you up, figure out what you need, and get it to you. Mind you, like I said, you've got them who are all over the nation, all in every state and what have you. And then you've got these organ donor people. So let's say you're an old person, or you're just anybody who on their driver's license has organ donor on there, all right? And you get into a bad wreck or something, you know, and you're just too far gone, and you got that organ donor on there. What they do is they call these people up, and they say, hey, you know, I got a body for you. They'll come, exhume the body, you know, the family or whoever, or the hospital will sign off on it. But then at that point, your body is the property of that private corporation, okay? Because you were an organ donor. So you already donated your body to whoever wanted it for the taking. It was up for donation. You know what I mean? It's like you got the little Buddha statue and you walk up and you throw the little, you know, coin up in there, it's gone. You know what I mean? Once you toss it. So you've got that, right? And then going to the More Talk episode 4, talking about the missing children, you've got Child Protective Services, all right? Not getting them when they're fetuses, not getting their organs when they're old people, but as they're still youth, you know, in the home. And typically, like the lady said, and I'm going to play a couple excerpts from it before we go, but typically they are lower income families, all right, typically melanated or Asiatic or quote unquote minorities, all right. And the reason why they do this is because they're not banking on you saying anything or challenging the process, right? And then when you add to the fact, you know, add insult to injury, that we have these contracts and these, you know, these unfettered, you know, licenses from the state and for the state to do whatever and what have you with us, it's, you know, it's kind of hard to say, all right, I don't want this to happen, I want that to happen, when they've already laid claim on paper now, on paper to your physical body. Okay? Whether you claim to be an organ donor or not, they've already got a birth certificate certifying that your vessel has left the docks. Right? Hold on, we got a message. Parenthood tried to give me an abortion. Yeah, that's some craziness. And I've had homegirls who've told me, you know, they had crazy stories where they find, you know, a polyp or something. They might have a yeast infection or whatever. And the doctor's saying, oh, you need to have, all your stuff, pulled out. And they, taking out all of their organs. And so now, all right, so like the cyst, right? They talk about like the ovarian cyst and whatnot. As far as I know, with my limited, knowledge about ovarian cancer and things of that sort, there's preventative ways that they can go in, burn it off, go in there, put some medicine in it, and it'll take care of it. But then if you let it go on too long, or if they don't, catch it right, it'll get to the point where they'll say, hey, we got to do a hysterectomy. That's what I was trying to think of. They got to do a hysterectomy, and then they got to take out, your ovaries or whatever, or, special parts of your womb that are needed. And typically, they will recommend this for Asiatic women that I found in my conversations with people. And, or you'll have somebody that'll say, oh, I had something wrong and they had to, tie my tubes, right? Or, it's just, you might be married, right? And you had 3 children and you don't want a 4th one. They'll say, oh, let's go in and let's do a vasectomy. Let's put a clamp on it, so you can just do whatever you want to do. But what people don't realize is that when they cut you open and they go to start, operating on your organs and stuff, stuff can slip, a slip of the wrist, and it's all she wrote. You know what I mean? Which is partially why a lot of times Asiatics we typically don't like to go to hospitals and things of that sort. And I know I'm getting off topic, but these are real things that we're dealing with. Check out the. Oh yeah, that's interesting. So I'm gonna read this in the chat. Sisters, like I told everyone when I was a teenager, only there to support a friend at the checkup. They made girls feel like adults. That's when they get them. I made everyone leave. I'm 45. I'm 45. This is years ago. Oh wow. So you're saying that like going to the doctor and getting checked up and getting a gynecological checkup, yeah, getting that is what made you feel more womanly at the time, right? So you would do it and you was okay with it because it was kind of like a rites of passage thing. Right. And going back to what we were talking about before, the reason for that is because they want you to think that it's okay to be going, and dealing with them, because on the back end, they need your consent. They need your signed, written consent to do anything with any of your stuff. You know what I mean? With anything that pertains to you. And so when they get you to come in for that checkup, they're getting that initial consent to start collecting data, and start scraping here and getting blood, samples there and a little piss here. And meanwhile, they're building this whole portfolio on you. You know what I mean? That's why they have HIPAA rules in place to protect medical, rights. Hold on, I think having some connection issues. So I'm gonna reset it. Reset the room right quick. But yeah, so you have these various medical, quote unquote, medical centers that are supposed to be for, the betterment of people's health. But at the end of the day, they're doing all this other stuff behind the scenes, and you've signed away your permission, not paying attention. And keep in mind, people, when you're Islam, when you're signing these medical forms, these are public documents. Even though the HIPAA laws require them to be private, the quote-unquote, de facto government can go in at any point and request those medical records, all right, and get that to, use in their profiling system or what have you. So when you're dealing with these quote-unquote hospitals and these little doc in the boxes, as we like to call them, these little clinics, they're collecting that information, and that information is going into the master database. You know what I mean? So it's like when they ask you, all right, when was the last time you've been to the doctor and whatnot, and who's your doctor or whatever, they're not just asking that because they care about, your health. They want to see, all right, who has the medical records? Where can I go to request and see, all right, is this guy on, is this guy crazy? Is this person, are they, suicidal? Is there anything we can use to trump up, that they were on something or they weren't on something they were supposed to be on, and that's why we had to shoot their ass and down, you know what I mean? And then, the craziest thing, if you were paying attention a couple weeks ago, was the brother in Miami who was supposed to be a caretaker, right? Caretaker for an autistic man, right? And he's out taking care of him. Hold on, I think it's chopping up. Let me reset. They didn't get personal. Wow, they really didn't get personal. Yeah, because, they got most of the data that they need. And they collecting it for the long haul. Once they've got you on that first go round, they just, double check. And then notice too, they always ask you for your social. But I know Moors for a fact, you know what I mean, who have gone in, had wrecks and everything else, and they didn't use their social. When they ask you for your social and everything, or your ID, they just use their Moorish ID. You know what I mean? And with the AA 222141, they discharge the medical expenses. Because why? We're nationals, right? Under Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, they have to give us medical treatment. You know what I mean? They owe us that. That's part of our secured birthrights. And if you go on moorishdirectory.com and check out, the links and everything, I'm not sure where it is exactly, but if you check out the page, we've got some information on there about how you can, still get your insurance, which everybody's talking about Obamacare and all the rest of this type of stuff. You can still be covered, still be protected, and not have to necessarily come out of pocket. You follow me? Because we have certain things secured based on Constitution, treaty, right, and subsequent treaties, i.e. the Declaration of Rights of Indigenous Peoples, right? Hold on. Wow, they really didn't get personal since that's how I was known for being rude. Another question. Yeah, I use that writ. Yeah, so, and then Teresa saying she went on Moorish Directory and used that writ to get her EBT card. So, for all y'all, talking about food stamps and whatnot, the assistance is there. You just got to know how to ask for it. You follow me? Or demand it. You know what I mean? And she said, I told her ass 5 days. She said she told her 5 days. Hey, I'm going to have to get with you on that, sis. Yeah, because Moors out here hungry. And now this is very important, right? Because we talking about EBT, this is food. We talking about food stamps, right? It's about Moors don't ever do nothing for nobody. But Moors out here, we're using our information, using the knowledge that we got up here, all right, demonstrating it on paper first, and then out of our mouth, and then we're getting results. We're getting results, people. I can go right now. Matter of fact, I think I will. I'm going to go grab a handful of receipts now just to show you the results I get. All right? Since everybody want to talk crap. You know what I mean? I'm not going to name no names because they really don't deserve none of that. But while I'm doing that, let's listen to some of this Iron Sheik. Oh, man. Yeah, because I really am at the point now where I don't care who it is. I don't care what you think you've done. If you're not talking about more science, you bullshitting people. You know what I mean? You really are. Because at this point, we got people, mothers, babies, children, old folks, dying in the street, all right, suffering, starving, right? Sis over here talking about how she got her EBT card, so that food knocked out, to my food, water, and shelter, food knocked out, all right? I got Moors who I build with, and we've got them set up, and they're putting quick claims on houses. You know, they're getting property. I got a Moor right now out of Milwaukee, this, got a house in North Carolina. he goes in and out of there like he wants to. You know what I mean? Maybe later on we'll get him to come forth and do a demonstration on it, but he goes in and out of the property at will, okay? So that's food, housing, right? So clothing and shelter, as far as clothing, I know plenty of Moors who make garb, all right? And, you know, quiet as kept, I'm working with some Moors. We're going to come out with a line, you know, at some point, but we got the clothes, you know what I mean? As Moors, we already are supposed to be master builders, okay? So whatever it is we're dealing with, we're supposed to be able to build from it. So if it ain't that great now, you know, we can take it, cook up some stuff, or, you know, put some nails and some wood down and make it look brand new. You know what I mean? Slap some paint on that bad boy. You know, you in there like somewhere. But let me get y'all going. I'm going to run this iron sheet right quick, take a quick commercial break, and I'm going to just grab these receipts. All right, be right back.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you're a gangster?
Black power my ass, y'all just playing the ass poses, frontin' no bustin' no dirty cock gun button. At least Moore's right rich trying to do something. Pen as my weapon, feathers up and turbans, no bluffing. Don't get it twisted, so I'm more get handcuffing. Judges dismiss cases, prosecutors cussing. Telling my guys accused themselves or get sued. Civil rights leaders got conscious blacks marching on news, stopping traffic of people that didn't kill their sons and daughters. In Canaan land we call you writing out of order. Nationality has me awake like a sleep disorder, while most wear blinders, my peripherals broader. For the record, I sweat nervous court recorders in Admiralty maritime shores. Moors walk on water, engines return with no kills, no sight blurred, while they stay killing their minds and saying they learn.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. So you're a gangster.
Your forefathers had names before they became slaves. Seems like today it's only nicknames and pain. You should be learning so pain can stop from these vermin. German Nazi Inquisition is enslaving with sermons. Declared independence, still giving Moors reverence. Talking treaties with Muslims that over office entrance into the entrance masses. Keep them docile and passive. Killing them, corralling black backing like hostile fascists. Take oaths to break them, unless it's from the Lord. They give prophets who take them and neglect ancestors. Playing Mr. Tuffy, smoking a Dutch from the same master. But he's stealing your money for lunch. Wanna drink from their bowl cause they spike their punch. With Clorox I'm not guessing but I have a hunch. I can say I stand up to mercenary punks, while you Facebook posing with Glocks cocked and shotguns pumped.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you're a gangster.
If you got guns and use them on targets moving, try KKK badge carriers in your hood cruising. I'm not promoting violence, it's a point I'm proving. Moore's methods do work, but Coons disapproving. Khalid calling you out, but you're attacking the sheep and wanna show me how good you are with your hands and feet. Never challenge a cop when they arresting your brother, but we'll wear hoods and hold skittles one after another. After we feed the weapons, you Mel Gibsons and gloves. Shot in the back, I'm watching you suffer. Black standing on corners in seconds, life smothered. She forgave him for son's death, but listen to mother. Listen to common exercising his five senses. To end racism, stop looking through racial lenses. Look at constitutional, not civil defenses. Stop marching, the only thing that pickets is fences.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. So you're a gangster. Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police
right, so Nun Nagi back in effect. So I got these receipts, man. Now, some of these a little more faded than others, but I just want to show you guys something. See that 0 right there? Tag 0. All over here. The string. See that 0? And you see that text? Right. And we got another one. Oh, they put my appellation on this one. For those that know, y'all know I like Yardbird. Fuck y'all. For all y'all who talk crap. Another one, 0, right? They got my little appellation on there. And that G. See, when you demonstrate, they got to put that ill on there. They got to. If they don't, they denationalize you. All right. Here's another one. This is another one of my favorite places. I ain't even been there today. Usually I go there all the time. But let's see if I can find a better one. But this one don't even have the taxes on there. They took it completely off. This one all beat up. But you can still kind of see it. There's no taxes on there, right? Oh, okay. Here we go. And you see that AA222? You see that? See that right there? Hold on. Where is it? Here you go. See that right there? That AA? See? That's called demonstrations. You know, it's called doing a demonstration. All right. So when we were talking about, you know, AA222141 before, okay, this is the effect of that cause, you know, and the reason that happened, if you understand the history, is because of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. You know what I mean? And France in the 50s had to relinquish their jurisdiction because they were no longer, you know, laying claim to Morocco. Okay? And when they gave up that jurisdiction, kind of going back to what we were talking about before, when they gave up that jurisdiction, what happened? The heirs gained the rights back. So then the Kingdom of Morocco over in Morocco and Northwest Africa was reestablished. And then the Al Maghrib, Northwest Amexem, North Africa over here, was also reestablished, but it was not spoken of, right? It was, you know, button your lips. We're not going to talk about this side and tell them they're awake now. But on the side, you'll see things like Resolution 75 and, you know, other things that was subsequently done before, during, and after this announcement about the Kingdom of Morocco in the 50s that reaffirms the fact that they as Europeans are honoring us as Moors. And a lot of times they won't outright say it, but they'll do it in secret. But and going to this next video, we actually did have a European come out recently, and he's actually a Mason, believe it or not. And I've actually had the opportunity to, you know, catch up with the guy, and you know, we chopped it up on Facebook a little bit, and he, you know, pretty reasonable person, you know what I mean, pretty cool, from what I could tell. And he was telling me, well, I'll tell you kind of what he told me after the fact, but I just wanted to show you guys this, and you know, we'll open the floor for comments from there. But just take a look. Let me do an entire screen.
Alright, this is for all those who saying the European don't ever get no assistance. The European this, the European that. Alright, listen to this European. Let's see what he got to say.
Peace and fraternal greetings. I am Brett Trismegistus, also known as Brett Godson, Some of you may know me as B-God. I am a 32nd degree and Holy Royal Archmason, a tried and true student and scholar of the ancient mysteries and ancient Freemasonry, which are one and the same. Some of you may know this as Moorish science. I come to you at this...
Wait, did he just say Moorish science? No. Let's back up.
Some of you may know this as Moorish science.
Oh, wow.
I come to you at this time...
Never heard of that before.
Very important message. Through my diligent studies of the world religions and secret societies, there is no better teaching for the Asiatics in America than the divine wisdom of the Honorable Prophet Noble Drew Ali in the Moor Science Temple of America. I bear witness.
Hold on. Didn't the prophet say that this was going to happen? Didn't he say watch the news?
The teachings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali being the sure foundation stone for the redemption and salvation of Asiatics in America who have been misnomered Negro, Black, African American, colored, etc. These labels were created by slave owners and given to their slaves in 1779. Many today, in 2016, still identify with these labels. Words are very important and very powerful, and they have a very strong effect on the human conscious and subconscious mind. These labels were forced upon the Asiatics as a means to dehumanize them and to take away or weaken their identity, their power, their culture, their heritage, and much more. It is very important that you stop identifying with these labels and that you proclaim your nationality and divine creed in the Moorish Science Temple of America. Look into and discover the gifts that the Honorable Prophet Noble Drew Ali prepared for you long ago. I leave you on the 5 points of Moorish science: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
All right.
This is...
So, there you have it. Right? You've got a European Mason coming out of Europe, out of, the lodge in England, or London, if I'm not mistaken, London, England, saying that Masonry is Moorish science and that we're Moors, right? In a nutshell. And then to turn around and say that, we got to proclaim our nationality. Now, as far as the temple is concerned, we know that the temple's been infiltrated. So you can go there if you want to, but you're not going to get what you're getting, outside of the temple necessarily. But it's definitely still our institution as a people. And when the time comes, we will, regain those institutions in their full right and glory. You know what I mean? Not with all this confusion going on. Because we still got a lot of good Moors in the temple. They're just not in control of the temple yet. So it is what it is. But anyway, I had to play that because, oftentimes we think that our enemy is based on appearance, and it's not. It's really not based on our appearance. Speaking of which, what was this? I think it was Detroit. The head prosecutor and whatnot, they weren't trying to help somebody. They really weren't trying to help with this, with letting people out, really. Let me see if I can find this. Because she really wasn't, she wasn't trying to let anybody out, basically. Can't find it. Anyway, so moving forward, out of Detroit. It was somewhere in Detroit. But anyway, the prosecutor was, they had the option to basically let these people out and, overturn some of these bad drug policy cases and whatnot. And Asiatic sister, she opted to keep them in there, you know what I mean? And said that she was going to scrutinize all the files and found, so many of them were violent, and she was going to deny their parole or their release because of that, and so on and so forth. But going back to Child Protective Services and that piece, you've got a federally funded program that is kidnapping children from their parents, right? Giving them to some stranger, some weirdo over here. And then turning around and in some instances making the parents pay child support now, right? For the child that ends up in foster care or, what have you. And then that parent has no access. They lose the rights to the child, so on and so forth. And that is how the family gets broken. You know what I mean? And then from there, they're financially burdened because they're trying to go back and forth and fight with the courts. And at the end of the day, they never had any money to begin with, right? So they're messing over these children, messing over the family, ruining the families. So now, you're working 3-4 extra jobs just trying to make ends meet just so you can try to pay an attorney or a lawyer or whatever to try to file something, to try to hope that filing that something is going to get you, your children back or try to get you some visitation with them, so on and so forth. And it's all for naught at the end of the day because that particular judge or whoever's sitting on that case has made it up in their mind that you're an unfit parent, or what have you. And because the guardian ad litem works in hand with the state, even though they're supposed to be, neutral, supposed to be separate, they work in hand with the state. The prosecutors work in hand with the state. The judge, he wants to keep his job, so he's working in hand with the state. Hell, he swings the gavel for the state. And meanwhile, they're collecting off of you. You know what I mean? And you're paying for your own oppression in the midst of it. So, it's real hard because you got mothers, oftentimes mothers who don't have the means to physically fight anything. You know what I mean? They're working 3-4 jobs or whatever, so they don't have the time to really watch their children, like they probably need to. But they leave them in care of somebody else, and the state will sometimes come in and say, oh, it's not good enough to not have the parent in the home. You know what I mean? They'll use that as the child's best interest. But meanwhile, they stop asking the children what their best interest was and what they thought, was important for them. You know what I mean? In terms of the home and what they wanted out of the family life. And they say that it factors in, but, based on how the court is, that it doesn't factor in much. The only time it factors in is when you tell them you want to go. You know what I mean? They say, oh, well, clearly this child wants to leave. You know what I mean? But anytime the child is actually like, no, I actually kind of like both of my parents. I really don't have a problem with either one of them. You know what I mean? Whoever's got the most money, whoever's got the better attorney, they're gonna make it seem like, oh, that child was coerced. Oh, that child isn't, they're too young. They don't really know what they're missing. You know what I mean? When they're spending time with this particular parent or whatever, they're gonna twist it however they want to. But it's gonna come out against you, and you're gonna end up, getting your quote unquote parental rights stripped. you know, and then they gonna take custody of the child, right? Now, let's not forget that you do have the right to rescind any contracts that you sign at any point. You do have the right to refuse service. You know what I mean? Child Protective Services is a service, right, that the state offers. Okay? Going back to what we were talking about before about, you know, with the treaty document and everything, the treaty book, and I'll read it just for sake of reference. But just to sum it up, we lost our nationality by being protected by them. You know what I mean? Or accepting their services. So right here, page 460, and just so you guys know, I'm reading out the treaty book. Citizenship of the United States, expatriation, page 459, chapter 5, temporary provisions, Morocco, and this is coming from the Charge d'Affaires of the Secretary of State in August 3rd, 1906. Right? Now I just kind of read it in its entirety, but this is kind of going back to what we were talking about before. There are, strictly speaking, no Moroccan laws relating to citizenship of Moor subjects in Morocco. The fundamental laws of this non-Christian country, going back to Article 11, which we read before, Treaty of Tripoli, are based entirely upon the Islamic code, no part of which treats the subject of citizenship. So the Islamic code isn't very clear about citizenship, according to him, according to the Charge d'Affaires, right? It says, there are, however, numerous treaties and conventions between the various Christian countries and the Moorish Empire, by means of which citizenship in this country is defined. So going back to what we were talking about before, we know that the reason why Moors look to the treaties and the Constitution for, you know, what we're talking about and why we're using that as the basis of the conversation and for the sake of argument is because it's not clear in the Islamic code what the citizenship rights are. But they can be determined, and it does become a little bit clearer when you read what? The treaties and the conventions between the various Christian countries and the Moorish Empire. Not the Ottoman Empire, but the Moorish Empire. Right? By means of which, because what happens when you look at those things, the treaties and the conventions, you will see the means of which citizenship in this country is defined. Okay? It says, but as I understand it, the above acknowledged instructions that it is not the desire of the department to call for a report upon such lines, because they ain't really want to talk about it. Yeah, I'm trying to make it click. I'm trying to make it click. Islam. So going right into what I was quoting though, it says one. So it says that there isn't. Hold on, connection is bad. Let me reset it. Reset. Yeah, I bet they don't want this connection to go through. They don't want to make this point. Not the Bama. Not the Bama. They sitting back like, no. Not this country bunky. Alright. Alright, so we back at it. I think we good. Alright. Alright, so the citizen point, so going back, when they're talking about the citizenship in Morocco, right? Page 460, and this is coming from the citizenship of the United States, expatriation, etc., chapter 5, temporary provisions, right? Mind you, these were temporary provisions at the time. Temporary in their nature, meaning that they were put in place for a set period of time, and after that set period of time, some other provision would come into place or be in effect going forward. That would be considered more permanent, right? So you've got the temporary provisions, and then you've got AA 222141, which is coming out of the United States Code, which is for a general and permanent character. Okay? Somebody just popped in. Welcome.
Hello.
Islam, where you coming from?
Near North Carolina. This is very cool. It's my first time.
All right. Just for the sake of the bandwidth, just like cut your video off, and I'm gonna mute your mic out. And if you got a question, just type in the chat for me, okay?
Okay, thank you.
No worries. All right, so yeah, getting into the citizenship. So number one says citizenship in Morocco may be said to be governed by the laws pertaining to the same in other countries, with the exception that all persons residing in Morocco who cannot prove foreign citizenship or protection are considered ipso jure as Moorish subjects. Okay, so ipso jure, legal term, gotta break out the Black's Law, got to, because we can't be throwing out Latin and having folks confused. So ipso jure Moorish subject, ipso jure. So if you can't prove foreign citizenship, you're ipso jure Moorish subject. So you're ipso jure subject to the Moors. What is ipso jure? See if I can get it. Y'all bear with me. Just rolling with the spirit on this one. Alright. Sorry we dropped off. But yeah, so ipso jure Moorish subject. That means that you're already a Moorish subject whether you claim to be or not. It's just the fact of what do you claim? What do you have on paper? What is already stated? You know what I mean? What's already in effect? And then that's what people are going to look to determine, what your classification is. So, still looking at ipso jure. All right, ipso facto. All right, ipso facto, ipso jure. All right. So ipso facto, come out Black's Law 4th edition, page 961 if you want to follow along. Ipso facto, right? By the fact itself, by the mere fact, by the mere effect of an act or a fact, right? And that case law is Barber Asphalt Paving Code v. Hayward, right? Then it says, and this is jumping down to the etymon of it, it's saying in ecclesiastical law, a censure of excommunication in the ecclesiastical court immediately incurred for diverse offenses or diverse offenses after lawful trial. Right, so that's not the word we were looking for, but that's just for sake of context. Ipso jure. Since it's mouth wide open, you should have seen me. No, it's kicked out. All right, no, you ain't missed nothing. You ain't missed nothing. So ipso jure. So now here we go. Here we go for y'all that might have missed it. Ipso jure, by the law itself, by the mere operation of law, right? So ipso facto, by the fact itself. So by the mere fact, right, that something exists, or the effect of an act, or a fact. So by the fact that I have melanin, I'm able to absorb, sunlight and convert it into vitamin D, right? By the fact that I have melanin. By the fact, like I said before, like I've got no taxes, right? And I can prove that I didn't pay any taxes by the fact that I have a receipt, right? I got a receipt that says no taxes. It says tax 0, right? That's a fact. Nun Nagi didn't print this, all right? Nun Nagi didn't go buy a receipt machine just so I can stunt for y'all to say, oh, I'm saving some coins here. No, I went and I used my nationality card. I used the brain that God gave me, and I demonstrated who I was with my nationality card. And after doing it so long, whenever I come up there, they look at me and immediately they're like, oh, you're the no tax guy. or you're the guy with the car, you know, with the tax card. You know what I mean? And it's not even a question as to who I am, what's about to happen, you know what I mean, and what I'm not finna do, which is pay these taxes, okay? Because at the end of the day, you know, going kind of backing up to previous conversations, we're part of two different societies. We're under two different, you know, sets of agreements here. They fall under the Constitution. We establish the Constitution and fall under the treaty provisions, right? As far as falling under the Constitution, that would come under Article 6, right? And so a tip coming from Sister Reese in the chat here, she said, just a tip, if they refuse to take your card because they want some kind of paper, ask them for the policy where it says that. Yeah, and this is across the board, okay? Because you're dealing with criminals 9 times out of 10, right? And what do criminals deal with? You know what I mean? They deal with lies 9 times out of 10. All right. So if they tell you, oh, you know, we can't take your card because we're used to seeing it on a form. You know, we're used to seeing it on AD, corresponding to Rajib 1211. The original treaty is in Arabic. The treaty was submitted to the United States Senate on day 29 of May 1797 AD. Message of day 26 May 1797. Resolution of advice and consent on day 7 June 1797. The treaty was ratified, right? Because this is the subsequent actions that the treaty went through. Ratified by the United States on day 10 of June 1797. As to ratification, generally see the notes proclaimed on day 10 of June 1797. And this is John Adams, right? That's the section I'm reading right here, right? Just so y'all can see. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to skip over and jump into Article 11, right? So Article 11, and this is what you see a lot of Moors make reference to, and a lot of other people talk about when they say that this is not a Christian nation, and that this nation was not, you know, it's not theirs in terms of being Christendom's actual possession. Though they are claiming it, and though they are, you know, standing on it, they don't have lawful possession. They have actual possession or physical possession. They don't have lawful possession, right? And there's a distinct difference at law when you're talking about who actually owns the property, right? So with that in mind, we having some technical difficulties. I'm gonna reset right quick. Y'all just bear with me. And y'all keep rocking with me over here as we're streaming live. Alright, so we back over here. Let me reset the room. Treaty of Tripoli, yes. Alright. Boom, back at it. Alright, so this is everybody coming back in. So I think we had a question. Treaty of Tripoli. Yeah, it's actually spelled, I'm bad at spelling too, so I'm bear with you. Tripoli. Yeah, Tripoli. So yeah, the Treaty of Tripoli. 1796. So let me go back. So it was signed on the 4th day of November 1796, right, in Tripoli. And then on the 3rd day of January 1797, it was signed in Algiers. All right, yeah, I know it's crazy. The audio.
You, but you can't see me. Looking in your face as you pass me by like far side. Calling spirits from the underworld and dark side. Go to the metal center, invoke higher, not lower heavens. Neo saw the matrix, I see 11s, 22s, 33s, and 44s. On dream realms, about an alligator man and warty boars. Vampiric weapons, SO not exoteric. Barbaric pirate, but don't call me barbaric. Don't call a medic, you better call a grave digger. Or call a rep as you tap out cause your legs fall before figured. I'm not that nigga, jigger or rapping tigger. More like a Moorish super hustler and trigger. Fix your eyes on the guy that has no kind of worries if I die. So pussy clock try.
Streaming live on
Fix
Ustream
your
today.
eyes on the guy that has no kind of worries if I die. So pussy clock try.
And you all are rocking with us from 6:30 till about 8:30. You know, sometimes we go a little bit over.
I'm watching as the National Guard shot gets set and drew prophecy of soldiers with bayonets. Martial law coming, all you blinded figures curfews. Your statements and they living off your virtues. Vampiric, touching their hair, you calling them rude. Blacks are dead carcasses, they see energy food while you riot.
And I know you guys watching on the stream or wherever you guys may be at already know that, you know, when Moors are talking about nationality and birthrights and everything, a lot of times you get jokers that just throwing certain words out there that Moors may say, but they do it loosely, right, without putting any kind of parameters, any kind of idea as to what it is they're actually talking about when they're saying that word. They don't define it at all. So that's often where the confusion comes from. And as we move forward, we'll, you know, try to work through getting that ironed out. As they say.
Undercover pros in black clothes, throwing the first projectile to start the riot infection. Disappear in the crowd, get for insurrection. Enemy combatant status is prisoner of war. Blacks
we keep doing, we doing. Moors keep going. Everybody else keep talking crap. We just keep building.
You better hear me.
You know, we're not really too worried about it.
Welcome,
welcome, welcome.
That's
somebody in the chat.
For rights and revolving door prison pipelines. Either you wake up now or
continue
to suffer. Live under the thumb and watch for eyes brother.
Islam. What's going on? I just turned the music off so you can speak.
I figured you was getting ready. That's why I just put myself on mute after the third.
All right, no worries.
Okay, so Sam.
I was going crazy right now. I'm gonna mute y'all out though, just to kind of help it. Hopefully, we'll get through it. But anyway, all right. So we've got that. So I wanted to get to Article 11. Hold on, somebody's typing something. Y'all bear with us. And if anybody on the Ustream is watching, you know, you guys can actually type in whatever you guys want to, and, you know, drop in if you want to. Anyway, turn the cams off. Oh, okay. So if you're not using your camera, the webmaster is saying if you just turn your camera off, there should be a little button that looks like a camera next to the little button that looks like a microphone, and you can actually disable that on your end, and then that should help free it up. And then if you want to leave your mic open, that should let you, you know, speak without the camera interfering with the bandwidth, because we've got, you know, limited space with this going forward. Somebody else is typing. Hold on, I'm just waiting to see. But yeah, what I'm getting into before I read this, and let me just kind of give some context to it. When you're talking about Moors and the obligations, and, you know, Article 6, and you've got people asking, why do Moors always talk about treaties and constitutions, right? Keep your cam on. Yeah, I'm keeping my cam on. That didn't work too long. The camera strings. Okay. So let me read. Well, I'm just gonna read through it. What we got? I think somebody dropped off, but I'm gonna reset right quick, and then I'm gonna read it. All right. Y'all bear with me. Yeah, we're gonna have to do something about this. All right. So we're back at it. All right. So what I was saying, as far as the Treaty of Tripoli, when you're talking about who we are, who they are, you know what I mean, what was going on, realized that when the Moors were expelled from Spain in 1492, a lot of those Moors, right, ended up in Algeria, modern day, and modern day Tunis, right, or Tunis, Algeria. And matter of fact, just because y'all are with me, let me see if I can pull up a map right quick. Hopefully we won't crash the bandwidth. I know y'all on Ustream won't be able to see this, but one day we'll get this together. Alright, but I'm going to try to do a screen share right quick. Alright, I'm about to vibe out. Wait till the class fill up a little bit.
Alright, cool.
Alright.
Let it burn, burn, baby, burn. Maybe they would learn, maybe learn. Let it burn, burn.
Yeah, that's our webmaster Sharice L over there doing her things, checking in. You know, always love to have her rocking with us, making sure everything, you know, runs smooth in the background, things like that. So, you know, it's a team effort, teamwork makes the dream work.
Nobody talks in front of the pyramid seal. And upside down the shadow becomes a 7. Stop acting like Rosie, like Michael Jackson. In reality,
coming on in, coming on in.
Dimension shift when you recite hieroglyphs. Open your chakras, kundalini energy shifts. Higher self out the lower depths. Start feeling the slip. Start getting your mind forward, not keeping your mind black. Watch where you walk. I've seen people swallowed by cracks. Stop talking, kill crackers. Posing with gas, the truth. It's time to plug in like a phone jack. Finally make the connection, make the correction. Blacks are abused for statelessness, not your complexion. Let it burn, burn, baby, burn. Maybe they would learn, maybe learn. Let it burn, burn, baby, burn. Let it burn, burn, baby, burn. Let it burn, burn, baby, burn. Maybe they would learn, maybe learn.
I just muted you out just so it wouldn't be any echo or anything.
Maybe they would learn, maybe learn. Burn, burn.
Alright, so let's go on and get it started. 6:38. That's Brother Cujo, Iron Sheet. Coming from that Iron Sheet 6 that y'all were listening to. And today, I believe, today was the day that I was supposed to get started and go over the Treaty of Tripoli. Rolling over from last week, and just to kind of recap you if you haven't been keeping up with the classes or you haven't been able to catch us, in transition, we've been taking a very slow, cursory walk, through the basics of what we in 2016 considered to be the essence, or what I like to consider to be the bricks, so to speak, of the foundation that is Moorish science, as we understand it today. Hold on. Did you have something to say? Say what? Might be having some technical difficulties. I'm gonna go and, if you got something and the mic's not working, just hit the chat box and it should let you retype it. Hold on, let me reset this. Maybe it's on my end. Alright, so let's keep it going. A little technical difficulties, never hurt nothing. Alright, so we just keep it moving. But yeah, we also on Ustream, by the way. Not sure what. There we go. Islam. Oh, and she left just like that. All right. Anyway, so we got people popping in and out. This like I said, this is an open forum. Pretty much on Fridays we just like to sit back and let whatever is going on kind of be the driving force behind the conversation, and then from there we kind of build. But for right now, I just wanted to try to stay on task with where we're at. Maybe she popped back in. So let me see if Islam, you back. Welcome. Just see Islam. If you can hit the chat box if you got a question or whatever, because it seems like you got some audio issues or whatever. But I'm gonna go on and mute you out for right now. All right, sis.
Yeah.
All right, and go on and share the link with whoever you can while you sitting here. But all right, so we're gonna keep it moving. The Treaty of Tripoli, which of course I got a copy of it right here in the treaty book, and I wanted to jump right to what it was I wanted to get to without going through the whole thing and all that rigmarole. So we'll be able to get through the rest of this. So page, only mine is a little different from y'all's. Got somebody else popping in. Just mute them out right quick. If you got any questions, hit the chat box, all that good stuff. But Treaty of Tripoli, now, just so y'all can see, hold on. So y'all can see Treaty of Tripoli, right? All right. So Treaty of Tripoli is a little, there we go. So, signed at Tripoli on day 4, November 1796. All right, corresponding to 3 Ramadan, AH 1211. It was signed at Algiers on day 3 of January 1797.